Good morning, CDT day 105. Why am I talking to you in the dark? Well, I figured out in the middle of the night somehow, or actually right as we were setting up camp, that the trekking poles that I use, I left in my Hitch's car. But we happen to know that he is car camping at the Big Sandy Trailhead because he's going to hike in the morning. So I am going to walk over to his car and get my trekking poles back because they are very expensive, and my mom got them for me, and I really like them. So it's about a 1.5 mile walk. I'm gonna go to the trailhead, pick those up, and then I'm gonna do the 6.5 miles to the spot that I left off. And then from there, Jesus and his hitch are going to pick me up around 9:30 or 10 from the spot that I'll be leaving off. And then we are going to Pinedale. So we're going to go to the town today. Like I said last night, we were going to avoid it just because it's a really tough hitch. But since we already have one guaranteed, we're just going to go do it. We definitely don't have any reason to, but that's fine. So I'm just going to do it anyways. So yeah, I'm working out there now. I want to make sure to catch him before he wakes up. So I'm going to go do that. All right, I was able to get my trekking poles back. The hitch found his car in the parking lot, which was a bit of a search because there's hundreds of cars here parked for the more popular trails into the winds. But he kept my trekking poles right on the windshield on the outside of the car, so I was able to pick him up without having to wake him up. So that worked out well. It's 6 a.m. though, so I only spent about a half hour here waiting because I found the car and it was too dark to see the poles, so I just kind of sat outside, figured I would make some breakfast, do some research on Pinedale and things like that while I wait for him to wake up, because there's no reason for me to be waking him up that early. So luckily, when I went down to the stream to filter water, because I don't have any, I walked back and it just got bright enough that I could see these sitting on the windshield. So I quietly walked over, picked them up, and left. So thank you to that guy to Will, for putting these out for me. It's awesome. I'm really glad to have these back. That would have been an expensive loss. So now 6.5 miles down this road to a random spot that I was picked up yesterday, and then I guess I'll just sit there and wait for Jesus and the hitch to come get me, and maybe a little bit of decision making. I still don't know if I really want to go to Pinedale. There's no reason. We have all the food we need, have all the equipment I need. We're only a couple days removed from town in Atlantic City, but it would be nice to have another recharge. It's just, you guys know the whole situation with the mileage. We got to do 26 average every day to get to the border on time for October. But the reason I think I want to go to Pinedale today is so that we can research this Big Sky alternate that I was told about in town. Apparently, a number of hikers are doing what is called the Big Sky alternate. And it goes, instead of going west through Yellowstone into Idaho and then north into Montana, kind of needlessly, it goes almost directly from Yellowstone north into Butte, Montana, through Big Sky. So apparently it cuts off a ton of miles, but it's all part of the continuous footpath. But I want to research it to see if it's legitimate or if I'm really just like road walking to Canada, because I don't want to skip too much of the CDT. So that's something that I think I'll just go to Pinedale to research. And if I don't like the alternate and I don't think it's legitimate enough for me to consider it part of the through hike, then I'll just have to, I'll have a day lost and I'll have to play catch up. And if I do think it's legitimate, then we just cut 5 to 10 days off the trail and we can do stuff like hang out in town and relax. So I think I'm going to go to Pinedale regardless, just to figure that out. There we go. I am pretty much back to where I left off yesterday. This sage field I went through, and it definitely sucked. Let's see. I believe it was right up here. I was sitting, right up here in the ditch. I had come from over there, middle of nowhere. You guys saw that clip yesterday where there's like a road that is totally not a road. It just dropped me off like up there randomly. Had to hop 3 barbed wire fences, go through the sage, go through that tall grass, which is actually about 3 feet tall, and then through all of these thickets that I just had to push through, and then up this and climb up over this barbed wire fence. And then I came over here immediately, unclipped my backpack, and right before I sat down, a car came by. They drove up almost to where that sign is up there, and then I sat down and it started reversing. Car reverses to right here, and Jesus is in it. And I'm just like, what are the odds? Like, I just got here seconds ago, and he tells me that right before we got separated in the morning, he was trying to get my attention that he got cell service and found a road, but I didn't hear him. I think I was too determined, so I kept going up trail, and he found some double track that was perfectly led him to this road, but like 4 miles further down, and he walked this road 10 miles all the way to the lodge. So he did in 15 miles what I did in like 22, and then plus the 6.5 that I just had to do to make it up. So he definitely won the day yesterday, and I'm gonna have to stick with him as long as possible so we can make sure to get those together. So yeah, now my decision is don't really care whether I go to Pinedale or not. So if a hitch comes the other way, I'm going to try to get a hitch to go back to the lodge. And then I'm going to talk to Jesus and say, I don't really need to go to Pinedale. I think I'll just go to Du Bois like originally planned and just walk out from the lodge. But if I can't get a hitch, then I'll just wait here until they pick me up, and then we'll go to Pinedale. So either way, I'm not really losing. So, but for now, I'm going to be sitting here a while till somebody comes in either direction. It's finally starting to warm up, got a little bit of sun. So I'm going to be taking off all the warm gear that I'm wearing. And then it's 8:15 a.m. right now. And the family, or the couple that are planning on taking us to Pinedale, aren't leaving the lodge till 9:30 or 10. So I still have a good hour and a half to 2 hours until they get over here. So it could be a long wait. All right, so in the battle of hitches in either direction, the lodge won. So I just got a hitch back to the junction to the lodge. It's about a half mile or less to it. So I am, walking back to the lodge. And I should still find Jesus there and talk about things. Actually, this might be him coming right now. False alarm. So I'm going to go to the lodge, talk to Jesus, see what we're going to do, Pinedale or trail. But I got a feeling it's probably going to be me on trail, him in Pinedale. I can be swayed. You guys know how easily I can be swayed. Well, Jesus did it. He's a master convincer. So we are on our way to Pinedale. All right, hitch is going great. The truck broke down, lost all of its oil, so we are hanging out on the road just looking for some oil. And we'll see how that goes. So just hanging out in the basin again. All right, after a couple of hours with the broken down car, we were able to get a hitch from a nice older guy in a truck who brought us to Boulder, which is the next town before Pinedale. And so now we're looking for our third hitch to get us into town. So we'll see what happens. All right, after one last hitch from a nice guy from Texas, we are now in Pinedale. This is a very cool town. Lots of restaurants. We're going to the brewery right now, which makes the beer that we had last night. So we'll check out the brewery, and then eventually we'll find our way to where we're staying and some other fun stuff. Who was once in the mountains bushwhacking through sage is now eating loaded sweet potato fries with bacon and blue cheese. Oh, how things change. And for the full entree, we're looking at the loaded Brewmaster burger. We're looking at burger, beef brisket on top, onion rings, some cheese, side of tater tots. Oh, hell yes. All right, we made it to the church. Buzz. We all do. So we made it, and actually this place is really cool. Jokes aside, they got this whole place set up for hikers. We got movies, we got a kitchen. Hi. Full-size kitchen. There's even showers and bathrooms, and then an area to sleep. So Jesus and I are over there, cot, spot in the bed. This is so cool. Love it here. There's the outside of the church with a beautifully manicured lawn. You can set up a tent if you so choose. And it's situated right on this creek. So nice. And they have showers, so I don't know if I'll have any use for this, but yeah, I don't know. Get enough drinks in me. Maybe it'd be nice to have a little soak in there. Either way, this is St. Andrews in the Pines Church in Pinedale, Wyoming. Incredibly nice to CDT hikers. The cheapest place you can get in this town is $85, or you can stay here, which is donation based. And as you saw, full kitchen, showers, towels and soap provided, everything. It's just incredible. So thank you so much to the Church of St. Andrews for an awesome place to stay. Time for a trip south of the border, if you will, with some quesadillas and margs with Jesus.
Hey.
See, he's losing the lust for life. He's losing the flair for the YouTube. Look at his eyes. So defeated, upset. All right, back from our Mexican food. Took some of that quesadilla to go. Good size. Margaritas were delicious as well. So nothing crazy tonight. Nobody drank too much. We're all just having a good time. So tons of hikers here, probably about a dozen. So a lot of people to meet and hang out with, and we're gonna watch some movies, and I'm going to talk to my mama and some other people on the phone and then call it a night. So statistics, Jesus, it was a 0 day for him. But for me, since I had to recoup those miles from yesterday, I did 6.5 trail miles, a total of about 8.5 miles altogether, with having to do the extra mile and a half to go pick up my trekking poles, and then the other half mile from the hitch back to the cabins and all that stuff. So all in all, my big gaffe yesterday that required me to do all these miles probably put me like 10 miles over the edge, somewhere in that range. So it really hurt. But you know, you guys have seen me do a lot of shortcuts, so it only makes sense that sometimes I have to do some extra long ones. So it all works out that way. So I don't have an elevation profile, but the road was super flat and easy. So I imagine like less than 1,000 feet, maybe like 500 feet, something like that. Really nothing. So yeah, that works out pretty well. We did some research on the Big Sky alternate, and it looks pretty legitimate. So we're going to take that, and that will cut off about 240 miles off of the trail. But it's been done by many thru hikers before, so it looks like it'll work out just fine for us. That also gets us done at the end of September, which is much quicker and more helpful. So that helps us out a lot. Yeah. So other than that, that is the end of the day, and I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.